As to methods, there may be a million and then some, but principles are few. This is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, if you follow breathwork like I do, maybe you're a little bit obsessed, you may have noticed the dozen or more breathwork methods that seem to pop up every year. Wim Hof burst onto the scene about 10 years ago, and since then we've really seen more and more methods kind of rising in popularity. But are these methods really different, or just simply variations of the same thing? Right? What underlies these seemingly different methods are a set of core principles. And it is these principles that I want to share with you today. Right? As an understanding of these principles really allows for more effective use of all of the different methods that are out there. My name's Campbell Will. I'm a physiotherapist, I'm a breathwork specialist, and I've trained with many of the leading names in the fields of breathwork. But I've also immersed myself in the fields of neuroscience, of physiology, of biomechanics, right? My background as a physiotherapist, so, for the last decade or more, I've really taken an interest in how the body works. So, let's start with the difference between methods and principles, right? Methods are specific procedures or sets of steps that can be used to achieve a particular goal or outcome, right? Principles are a kind of fundamental set of rules or laws that guide or inform the way that something is done. Let's take the Wim Hof method as an example, right? As the name implies, this is a method. It is a specific set of steps, right? 30 deep breaths, followed by a maximal breath hold, a recovery breath and a second hold, and then we start again. We repeat that 3 or more times. And this method is used to achieve a particular goal or outcome, right? And often that is a change in state, right? How someone feels. Now, the principles that underlie the Wim Hof method are the changes that occur in physiology and the nervous system, right? This is a set of rules that govern the response, right? When we look at breathing, there are certain rules or laws that we have to understand in terms of how it impacts the body. Right? Changes in breathing rate, how fast I'm breathing, and depth, how deep I'm breathing, will reliably change the chemistry of someone's blood. Right? Changes in breathing rate and depth will also reliably change the state of someone's nervous system. So when you accelerate breathing, right, you accelerate heart rate. So here we start to see that the impacts of the Wim Hof method are due to a set of principles that govern how the body functions. Right? Outside of the Wim Hof method, if I just ask you to breathe rapidly right now, your heart rate will accelerate and you will start to create a more alkaline state in your blood, right? These are principles, respiratory physiology and the nervous system. Now, we can kind of do this breakdown for any breathwork method because underneath all methods lie these principles. And my goal with this video really is to help you shift your focus from methods to principles, right? There is far greater value in understanding the principles than honing in on specific methods, right? And let's come back to the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. The man who grasps principles can successfully select his own methods. The man who tries methods whilst ignoring principles is sure to have trouble. Unfortunately, this is what we see a lot of happening today. People get focused on one particular method and they say, this is the breathwork method, this is the right thing, instead of actually understanding the principles, right? So what are the principles that you should understand regarding the breath, right? We could break this down into a lot of different components, but my goal here is not to make you more confused, it's to actually make it a little bit simpler. So that being said, there are 3 core principles that I want you to understand that underlie breathwork: biomechanics, physiology, the nervous system. Biomechanics is simply the movement of the body. As it relates to breathing, is someone effectively using their diaphragm? Or are they breathing up into their chest and their shoulders? Are they using their nose or their mouth? Are they using lots of effort, or is it relaxed? Right? All these things are going to impact how the body responds to these biomechanical changes. Physiology refers to the changes in chemistry that are occurring in the body. Right? Breathing hard and fast offloads more carbon dioxide from the body, which pushes it into an alkaline state. Breathing slow or holding the breath does the opposite, right? It pushes the body into a more acidic state due to the accumulation of carbon dioxide. the autonomic nervous system responds acutely to breathing, right? With faster, higher, inhale dominant breaths stimulating the sympathetic nervous system, whereas slower, lower, exhale dominant breaths stimulating the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system. Now, once we understand these three core principles, right, biomechanics, physiology, and nervous system, we can then kind of create a method that is tied to our goals, right? It's a specific set of steps for a particular outcome, right? If someone's tired and they want to wake up, well, that will require a different style of breathing or a different method than someone who's anxious and wants to calm down, right? Breath is really self-knowledge. It's developing an understanding and a line of communication between your body and your consciousness. Now, I'm not going to kind of go into consciousness here. I think that's too big of a conversation for this video. But the point I want to make is, right, there is an immense amount of communication happening throughout your body. And breath is your opportunity to participate in that communication, right? So if we come back to principles over methods, right? Let's say I only have one method. I only use the Wim Hof method. Well, how could one method be effective for different goals or outcomes, right? It can't. I want to be able to use my breath for exercise performance, for sleep optimization, for emotional regulation, for energy management, for digestion, right? Can one specific method do all of these things? No, it can't, right? But if I understand the principles, I can modify my breath to achieve these different outcomes, right? And this is the power of understanding principles. And this is the power of your breath. So if you're interested in breath work, right, whether that's as an individual wanting to optimize their own health and performance, whether that's a practitioner wanting to help your clients, right, you should understand the principles of breathing, right? You should understand how the body works and responds to certain stimuli. And I would encourage you, right, don't focus on a method. Instead, invest your time, your energy, your effort into learning the underlying principles. The return of that investment will give you far more than becoming highly proficient in one specific method, right? Breath has really been my obsession for the past 6-7 years, and I'm very passionate about teaching it. And for that reason, I have a free community for practitioners that are hungry to move beyond methods. So if you'd like to deepen your understanding and perhaps in the future even share this information with other people, you'll find the link to that community below. I hope you breathe well, and I hope you focus on principles and not methods.